Welcome to Delicious and Nutritious with Sarah Nelson. Do you want to feel great, age well, and look your best? I know I do. I'm a chef and a health coach, and I have tons and tips and tricks to help you feel better. Everything we put in our body, everything we eat matters. So let's make some food that's nutritious and delicious. Today we're going to make a colorful, vibrant salad with watermelon, radish, golden beets, pecans, some delicious cheese in there. And we're also going to make a veggie pasta, high protein, high fiber, gluten-free, with beet greens and arugula. It's a dinner simple enough for a Tuesday night or beautiful enough for entertaining on the weekends. So let's get to it. All right, we're gonna make a beautiful, colorful salad. Everybody talks about antioxidants and eating the rainbow. What does that really mean? Do you guys know what antioxidants are? I feel like most people don't, so let's talk about it. Oxidation is basically like rusting. I don't wanna rust inside my body, do you? So basically, when we eat these wonderful, colorful antioxidants, it prevents the whole process of rusting. And each deep color gives our body different phytonutrients, different plant chemicals, which are so beneficial for us. So we always want to try to eat the rainbow of colors. So here we're making this beautiful crunchy salad. We have some baby bib, we have watermelon radish. Look how beautiful this is. When you slice it up, doesn't it remind you just like when you're eating a slice of watermelon when you're a little kid? Have fun. We have some beautiful golden beets. I know there's beet haters out there. Beet haters, this is the gateway beet. These things are golden, they're delicious, they're sweet, they're mild. Give them a try. And if you don't like them, just leave them out. We also have some radicchio. Radicchio is a bitter lettuce. It adds some beautiful burgundy color. Bitter foods are actually great for our immune system, which we all need help with, right? So here we have these beautiful colors. We also have some pecans. I roasted these. I recommend roasting them. You just throw them in the oven at 300 for about 12 minutes and it really brings out the flavor. Great fiber, great antioxidants, full of nutrients. We have some Parmigiano Reggiano, which is sliced. This stuff is basically almost lactose free because it's aged. It has great amount of protein for a cheese. It's got wonderful omega-3 fatty acid profile. Highly recommend. A great tip is to make your salad dressing in the bottom of the salad bowl. That way you can put in your crunchy items and they can marinate and suck up the deliciousness of the salad dressing. So we're gonna make a white balsamic today. I feel like a lot of you guys probably use balsamic, but maybe not the white variety. It's more mild. Vinegar is great for you. It's great for blood sugar regulation. So we're gonna start with a little mustard. I like to use sometimes the smooth, sometimes the grainy. This is the grainy mustard. I'm gonna use my handy little spatula. I love these guys. We're gonna get that in the bowl. We're gonna add some ginger. Most of us know ginger is very anti-inflammatory. Like in the countries in the East where they used to use a lot of ginger before people started adopting a more American diet, they didn't even have heart disease, and this is part of the reason. This stuff is great. You have sore joints or pain, have some ginger. So we're gonna put this right in our dressing. And the tang goes very nicely with the white balsamic. So if you're not making your own salad dressing, you really should. This is a great upgrade to your health, to your food. It's delicious, it takes 2 minutes, and there's a lot of nasty ingredients in your store-bought salad dressings. So no thanks. Those yucky soybean oil, vegetable oil, ding ding, we don't wanna eat that. So you guys probably know in our vinaigrettes, we usually use about 1-to-3 ratio acid to oil. But you know, you can't be a good cook if you don't taste. So you start off, you taste for your acid ratio, and you take it from there. This salt I love. It's called Redmond Real Salt, and they mine it in Utah. So once upon a time it was sea salt when there was a sea there. Of course, there's not anymore. The problem with sea salt these days is there's a lot of microplastics in it, and we all are carrying around about a credit card worth of plastic in our brains, so I don't want any more. I don't think you do either. So that's a great salt with lots of great micronutrients. So we made our vinaigrette right here in the bottom of our bowl. So another reason that I like to do this, besides just soaking in all that great flavor for our crunchy ingredients, is it's less things to wash. I don't love to wash dishes, and you probably don't either. So we made the dressing in there. We're gonna put in our beets. We're gonna start to soak it right up. We're gonna put in some of this beautiful watermelon radish. So in the store, these almost look like turnips or rutabaga or one of those weird vegetables that you don't really know what it is and you kind of avoid. They're white on the outside. They are absolutely delicious. I get them also from my farm share in the summer. Whole Foods has them often. I actually got these from Fresh Direct. If you're in the greater New York City area, they have great produce, highly recommend. And throw in our radicchio. A little bit flew out. It's flying radicchio. We're gonna throw in our Parmesan slices, our roasted pecans. And then, like if I was having a dinner party or friends over later, or moving on to prepare my next course, I would just let this all sit here in the bowl, again, soaking up all those juicy flavors, and put my lettuce right on top. And then not toss it until I was ready to use it. So the lettuce stays nice and crunchy, but the salad's done. It can sit off to the side. You can put it back in the refrigerator for a few hours if you need to. Then we want to toss it thoroughly. Let me grab my tossers. They're right over here. We're going to give it a beautiful toss. Oh, I mean, we eat with our eyes, not just with our mouths, right? We eat with our nose, our sense of smell, and also with our eyes. And when you see all these beautiful colors coming together, it's just so beautiful. It's mouth-watering, really, right? All right, I have a beautiful dish here to put it in. So beets are also great for your liver. And we all know our livers need some help. Our livers are detoxing from not just alcohol, but all kinds of everyday toxins. And then when you go to the store and those beets have beautiful greens attached to them, we're gonna use those greens in our next dish. Because I don't know about you, but I don't like to throw anything away. I hate wasting food. So when they're pretty, buy them right with the greens on them, and the greens are full of nutrients also. All right, we gave that a big toss in our big mixing bowl. I love these aluminum bowls. And we're gonna put it in our beautiful serving dish. Look how beautiful that is. All right, see how quickly that came together? The only thing I really did ahead of time was cook the beets. You can either roast them or you can boil them. And when they're warm, if you just gently use your hands, the skin comes right off. It's so easy. That's a great thing to do like on a Sunday when you're meal prepping for the next week. And then you have them in your refrigerator for salads, for bowls, for whatever you want to use them for. Let's talk about olive oil for a minute. I lived in southern Italy for 4 years when I was in my early 20s. I got kidnapped by a handsome Italian, but that's a story for another day. I learned a lot about olive oil. We worked with artisan food producers when I was there, and I tasted a lot of olive oil, and olive oil is such a wonderful superfood. It is so anti-inflammatory. It's good for your skin, it's good for your hair, it keeps your digestion moving. So let me give you a few tips when you're buying olive oil, because it's very confusing. First of all, unfortunately, we really can't usually find good olive oil in most regular supermarkets. You need to go a little bit fancier, a little more high-end, because we really want to get olive oil that is from a single source. So when I say single source, like this olive oil, I'm a little partial, is from Sicily. Unfortunately, the labeling requirements are a little confusing. They can say it's from Italy when it's only a certain percentage from Italy. I think it's about 70%. Sometimes my clients come to me and they say, Sarah, I bought this olive oil at Costco, it's great. And then we turn the bottle around and it says it's made with olives from about 10 different countries. So that's really not a great product. You really want to have it made from one place, if possible, in glass, if possible. If you're not going to use it all right away, you want it to be in dark glass, and you want to store it somewhere cool and dark. And it goes without saying, it needs to be extra virgin. If possible, and this isn't always possible, but if they have the year of harvest, you want to make sure it's the fall preceding whatever season it is now. There's some great higher end olive oils that do that. Trader Joe's has some that they label with the year of harvest. So you can kind of look on the sticker and see how much information you can find out. But this is a really nice one. It has a couple different labels, Bono from Sicily, so also recommend that. All right, well, we'll be right back with the pasta. And we're back, and we're gonna make a delicious veggie pasta. Veggie pasta is one of my favorite things to make. Someone call it a weeknight dish, but I think it's great for any time. I love to do it on Sunday afternoons. I love to do it when I'm entertaining. It's quick, it's easy, it's delicious. We get a lot of nutrition. We have a high fiber, high protein pasta that we're using today. It's also gluten-free. A lot of my clients are avoiding gluten these days, and there are lots of great options. This is my current favorite. It's made from lupin beans, which is actually in the peanut family. So if you have a peanut allergy, you might not want to try that. But it's really delicious, really nutritious. Again, really high in fiber and also protein. Red lentil pasta is another great choice. There's chickpea pasta. Even if you're not gluten-free, it's great to try different kinds. Why not, right? They're all really delicious. So we're gonna get our pot going here. It's already warm a little bit, actually. I preheated it a little bit. We're gonna throw in some of the extra virgin olive oil that we talked about earlier. Get that nice and warm. And then we're gonna start to saute our aromatics. We have a little bit of garlic, which is antibacterial, antifungal. Garlic is a really potent, really healthful ingredient. And we also we're gonna use some shallot today. If you don't cook with shallots, I highly recommend them. They're in the onion family, which is the allium family. So alliums are onions, garlic, shallots, leeks, scallions. All of those aromatics are part of the allium family, and the healthy bacteria in your gut love this category of foods. So even if you really love shallots, you want to alternate through that whole category and integrate a lot of them into whatever you're cooking. Leeks, delicious. Scallions, great. So much flavor, so much goodness. So we're gonna get this shallot sauteing. And I love things that you can make in one pot. None of us really like to spend time doing dishes, so I did cook the pasta ahead of time in another pot, but other than that, everything is gonna be thrown in here. So we're gonna get this shallot sauteing. That's the first thing, and we're gonna wait till it's kind of, a little transparent. It's gonna get nice and fragrant, and then the garlic will be the next thing to go in. We have a couple different types of greens that we're gonna throw in today. We had those beautiful golden beets in our salad earlier, so they had some pretty nice greens on them. So I washed them and chopped them up. If you're a beet hater and you're like, Sarah, I'm never gonna buy those beets, that's fine. You can use whatever greens you like. I highly recommend Swiss chard. It's one of my favorites. You really wanna be alternating also with your leafy greens. And another cool hack that a lot of people don't realize is we can use arugula in things like pasta. So if you have some leftover arugula from your salad that you didn't use, guess what? You can throw it in and it wilts down and it's really delicious. Then we're gonna finish with a little pecorino romano. Sardinia is one of the blue zones. Blue zones are places where the highest percentage of people live to be over 100 years old. And they credit part of that to this pecorino cheese, which the goat herders, basically the sheep herders, eat tons of. So pecora actually means sheep in Italian. So pecorino, whenever you see a pecorino cheese, that's gonna be made from sheep's milk, which also happens to be easier to digest for most people. And like I was talking about with the Parmesan, has a great omega-3 fatty acid profile and is really healthful food. And yeah, cheese makes everything taste better, right? I think so. All right, so this shallot is sauteing up nicely. It's going from kind of purple to a little transparent. So that means we can throw in our garlic. Garlic and onions are actually, they release healthful compounds after they've been chopped up. So you actually want to give them about 10 minutes to really release those compounds before you cook them or eat them to get the most health benefit. Which is kind of fascinating, right? I think so. All right, so we're gonna let this garlic do its thing for about a minute or so. We want it to kind of get really nice and fragrant. You never want to burn garlic because it gets really bitter. So we just want it to get like a nice little golden hue on it. And after that happens, we're gonna put in these cherry tomatoes. I like to get them on the vine. I find that they're much more delicious, and I like the cherry variety better than the grape tomatoes. They're always sweeter, they're more tomatoey, more delicious. So we're gonna put them in, and they kind of, after a few minutes, almost start to burst and release their juices, which make a really nice base. And this is like, you know, easy, quick, kid-friendly, super delicious. You can add in more or less greens depending how much you want, and like whatever you have left over in your refrigerator. I like to teach methods, and then you take what you have and you throw it into your one pot. The one thing you're gonna have to wash when we're done. Super easy, super delicious. So we're gonna let those do their thing for a moment. Sauteing up nicely. So a couple things that will really elevate your cooking game. Number one, as we discussed, a really high quality olive oil. Super important. I used to spend more on olive oil than I would on a bottle of wine. It really does matter. You want to get the best quality that you can. A great olive oil, right? Another thing, cooking with chicken stock or broth, or actually, in this case, yeah, this is chicken bone broth. Sorry, mental for a second. So this is a chicken bone broth, so we get even more benefits. When you add a chicken broth or a stock or a bone broth, it's gonna give you a nice depth of flavor. It's gonna make all your cooking more delicious. And another thing, we're gonna finish with a little bit of European butter. So first of all, when the cows actually eat grass, they're metabolizing those nutrients for you. And then the butter is really high in vitamin A, vitamin K, butyrate, which is like great for your gut. So butter's back, baby. It's delicious, makes everything super yummy. And we wanna go with grass-fed butter, and I prefer the European butter. It has a higher fat content, and it's more delicious. So we're getting to a good point here. I'm gonna switch over to our wooden spoon, and we're gonna throw in our greens. I'm gonna start with the beet greens, because they're gonna wanna cook a little bit more than our arugula. Give it a nice stir. And we're gonna pour in a little bit of our bone broth. You can see how it's nice and thick. And this is just personal preference. If you have stock, or if you don't have any stock, you can use water. You could use a little bit of white wine. Again, we're not precious. What you have, what you need to use that's in your refrigerator. But if you do have a choice, it's nice to get a little bit of bone broth for those extra nutrients. I'm gonna give that a nice stir. So depending what I have in there, sometimes I'll cover it and let it really steam a little bit. These beet greens were pretty tender, so we probably don't even really need to steam them. We can kind of just throw everything in there for a couple minutes and do a super quick saute. So again, like this is basically a 15-minute dinner you can throw together. It's super easy, super delicious. We're gonna let this cook down a little bit, just a little bit more, and then we're gonna throw in the arugula and the pasta. We're going to add some fresh herbs, because fresh herbs are healthful, and also they make everything more delicious. So I just have some basil here. It's not basil season, so it's not the most beautiful basil that I've ever seen, but I'm just gonna kind of roll it up a little bit. And basil gets black when you hit it, you know, too hard with a big chef's knife. So I like to do what I call kind of an easy chiffonade. I just roll it up, and then I love kitchen shears. I don't know if you guys use scissors in the kitchen, but I have about 6 pairs of these in my drawer, and I use them for tons of stuff. Things like this are great. So we're not gonna make the basil get all black, and you know, again, we wanna eat with our eyes and keep it beautiful. So we're gonna do this quick chiffonade. Let's talk about herb storage for a minute, because we have a minute while this is cooking. So we love to buy fresh herbs at the store, but if you're one of those people, for example, that likes cilantro, you buy it at the store, it's beautiful, it's in the bag, it's in your fridge, and then like 3 days later, it's black and slimy and gross. And you think like, I'm not buying this again. Well, knowing how to store your herbs keeps them fresh and beautiful. So this is some Italian parsley. Highly recommend the Italian variety. It has tons of flavor, it's so delicious. So this is how I store my parsley, for example. I put it in a cup of water, and then I put a plastic bag over it, and it goes in the refrigerator. Basil, on the other hand, basil does not like to be cold. So if you buy basil, it doesn't want to live in your fridge. If you have a basil plant, it's really not that happy once the temperature outside goes under 50 degrees. So basil you want to keep out. I would put it in a cup, and sometimes I put it on my counter, and it's kind of like a beautiful plant. Back to the cilantro. If you're not one of those people that really doesn't like cilantro, I know it tastes like soap for some people, but not for me. So your cilantro, you have to diligently dry. I'm talking a lot of paper towels here. You have to dry it, you have to get rid of those paper towels, you have to get new dry paper towels, you have to roll it in the paper towel, put it in a bag, put it in your fridge, and it will last for weeks. So there's a great herb storage tip for the day. All right, back over here, we're ready. Things are sauteing down nicely. Our tomatoes have burst and let go of all that wonderful flavor. You can see like the bone broth is reducing down into a delicious saucy base. We're gonna just wilt this arugula. We're gonna add a little more of our bone broth for that great depth of flavor. We're gonna throw in our pasta. It's called stronza preti, this pasta. It's a fun name to say, and it's a fun shape. There's a whole science between what shape goes with what pasta, and in Italy, people have like very strong opinions about it. So you don't want to be using spaghetti when you're supposed to be using rotini, or you can get in big trouble. When I moved to Italy, I didn't speak one word of Italian. And people didn't care like where I went to university or what I did for an occupation. They wanted to know, can you cook? When I got there, not so much. When I left, yes, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna give this a turn, and then back to those secrets of what makes your food more delicious. Little European butter swirled in the end. Yes, please. It just makes it silky, delicious. And then we're gonna turn this off. We're gonna finish chopping our herbs over there. And we're gonna top it with some pecorino romano. And it's done. How easy was that? Easy, quick, delicious. Good enough for a dinner party, or fine for a Tuesday night when you have 15 minutes. All right, gonna turn that off. All right, so we're just chopping up this parsley to give us a beautiful garnish. And we have our basil that we did the chiffonade. So this type of veggie pasta, really you can do with anything. When it's winter time, I like to use winter squash. You can actually roast sweet potatoes and throw those in. Or, like I said, whatever greens you have laying around, whatever alliums you're gonna use, and it's quick and delicious. And this is the way people in southern Italy eat. They eat pasta every single day, and it's made with whatever is fresh, whatever is around. I remember sometimes, like when I lived in Sicily, what were we gonna make for dinner? Like I didn't have anything. I would go outside and there'd just be wild Swiss chard growing. And you pick some of that and you throw it in with some pasta and you have a beautiful dinner. All right, I'm gonna give this a little more of a fine chop. Try not to make too much of a mess. And we're gonna go ahead and plate this beautiful pasta. All right. Wow, how good does that look? Are you guys getting hungry? I am. Yum. All right, we're gonna top it with some herbs and some cheese. Here we have our basil. And we have some Parmesan cheese, or excuse me, our beautiful pecorino from the sheep. And then I always like to finish with a beautiful drizzle of our anti-inflammatory, extra delicious, extra virgin olive oil. And here we have it. Here we are, we're back. So to recap what we made today, we made this beautiful veggie pasta with greens. We used our beet greens, we used some arugula. We have shallots in there, we have our garlic, and of course we finished with our wonderful fresh herbs. And we made this colorful, vibrant salad with our watermelon radish and our golden beets, our pecans, and our Parmigiano Reggiano. And I just encourage you to try new things. Buy that weird vegetable that you've never had before. Go to the farmer's market, join a farm share, eat real food. Your body will thank you, your gut will thank you, your health will be better. Thanks again so much for joining me here in my kitchen today. Please follow me at Sarah Nelson Wellness on Facebook and Instagram. And I'll see you next time on Delicious and Nutritious with Sarah Nelson.